there's undoubtedly a time, they found fossils on Antarctica, there's undoubtedly a time when Antarctica was lush and green.
Just beneath the surface of Mount Erebus is an entire new world that we've only just started to come to understand.
Scientists in Antarctica have made a shocking discovery. High-energy particles are shooting up from the ground, suggesting something unbelievable might be happening beneath the ice. Could there be a parallel universe where time flows backwards? In the remote settlement of Villas Las Estrellas on King George Island, life comes with a drastic rule. To live there, you must remove your appendix. What is hiding under the Antarctic ice, altering our understanding of reality? Let us uncover the chilling secrets of Antarctica. The government is desperate to hide. The frozen mysteries of Villas Las Estrellas. One strange fact comes from Villas Las Estrellas, a tiny town on King George Island. It's a Chilean settlement, and something unusual happens there. If you want to live there long-term, you have to have your appendix removed. This might sound extreme, but it makes sense when you realize how isolated the place is. The nearest big hospital is over 600 miles away, across the rough waters of the Southern Ocean. If someone's appendix burst, it could be life-threatening because help is so far. To keep everyone safe, especially children, this rule is in place. It's one of the most unique health rules anywhere in the world. As the icy winds howl, whispers spread in Villas Las Estrellas about a chilling disappearance that threatens to reveal dark secrets hidden beneath the ice. In the summer, about 100 people live in Villas Las Estrellas, but when winter comes, that number goes down a bit. The town is home to scientists, military personnel, and even their families. It has a school, a post office, a grocery store, and a souvenir shop. The temperatures usually stay below freezing, and during the winter months, the sun hardly shines, leaving the town in dim light for long stretches of time. Researchers have also made a mind-boggling discovery. Scientists working on the Antarctica Impulsive Transient Antenna have been studying high-energy particles from space. To their surprise, Anita picked up signals showing that some particles were coming up from the Earth, not falling from space as expected. This strange finding led to an exciting theory. Could these particles be from a parallel universe where time moves backward? Imagine a world where everything happens in reverse, where the Big Bang wasn't the beginning but the middle point of time, and everything moves backward from there. In this universe, time flows in the opposite direction to ours, flipping our understanding of how time and cause and effect work. Imagine a universe, a place with its own rules, some similar to ours and others completely different. Now, what if there are endless numbers of these universes? If that's true, there could be countless versions of you, each one shaped by different choices you've made. It's a mind-bending idea that makes us rethink what we know about reality. In the cold Southern Ocean, near Antarctica, lives a strange fish called the ice fish. What makes this fish stand out is its clear, see-through blood, which is very rare in animals with backbones. Normally, blood is red because of hemoglobin, the protein that carries oxygen. But this fish doesn't have any. You might think that's a disadvantage, but it survives thanks to the freezing waters it calls home. These waters are filled with dissolved oxygen, and the fish can absorb oxygen through its skin and gills. Plus, the ice fish has a bigger heart and blood vessels to help pump its oxygen-poor blood. To top it off, it has a special antifreeze protein that stops ice from forming inside its body. This allows it to survive in temperatures that would freeze most creatures. Deep in those icy waters, there are stories of a mysterious creature known as the Nengen. Japanese researchers first reported seeing it in the early 2000s. This giant human-like creature is said to be as long as 98 feet, with limbs and a head that look a lot like a human's. It has been spotted near the surface of the water, but sightings are very rare. Some people believe the government might be hiding knowledge of the Nengen to prevent panic or protect secret information. Others think it could be an undiscovered species related to whales or other marine mammals. Let's see what's hidden under the ice in Antarctica. Antarctica's forgotten worlds. Speaking of discoveries, an old satellite revealed something incredible under Antarctica's ice. A forgotten continent. The European Space Agency gathered data from a satellite, which has since stopped working, that showed what lies beneath the icy surface. It turns out there are ancient parts of the Earth's crust, called cratons, hidden under Antarctica. These cratons are leftovers from a time when Antarctica was part of a giant supercontinent known as Gondwana, which included places like India, Australia, and Africa. Gondwana began to break apart about 160 million years ago, and it gave birth to the continents we know today. The ancient land masses of Earth have slowly moved over millions of years to where they are now, hidden beneath the thick ice of Antarctica. This discovery came from an old satellite that, even though it's no longer in use, still helps scientists learn more about Earth's geography and history. Even in the most isolated places on Earth, like the rugged, icy landscapes of Antarctica, art has a way of surviving. 7 years ago, a 118-year-old watercolor painting was found in an old shelter there. It was hidden under dust, mold, and even penguin droppings. The painting showed a dead bird, a type of tree creeper that most people have never seen. The artist was Dr. Edward Wilson, a British explorer and painter who died on Captain Robert Falcon Scott's doomed Terra Nova expedition in 1912. Josephine Bergar-Canes, a specialist in conserving old paper, found the artwork while going through papers in a bunk at Cape Adare. Dr. Wilson probably brought it with him on the expedition in 1911, although he may have painted it earlier while recovering from tuberculosis in Europe. Surprisingly, the cold, dark conditions of the hut kept the painting in great shape. But that wasn't the most puzzling discovery. In 2011, scientists came across something strange in Antarctica. They called it the Thing because it looked like a deflated sea lizard's egg. The soft object was about the size of a football, but no one could figure out what it was for nearly 10 years. After many studies, experts from the University of Texas at Austin decided it was most likely the egg of a mosasaur, a giant sea reptile from the time of the dinosaurs. The egg had a soft, leathery shell, similar to those of modern snakes and lizards, which helps scientists understand how these creatures are connected to dinosaurs. In 2017, another interesting find surfaced when a team from the Antarctic Heritage Trust discovered a 106-year-old fruitcake at Cape Adare. Amazingly, the fruitcake was still in good condition, and some even said it was edible. Made by a British company called Huntley and Palmer, the fruitcake was found in a rusty tin, but the cake itself was nearly perfect. Fruitcakes were popular with early explorers because they provided lots of energy and could last a long time in tough conditions, even if they weren't exactly the first choice for a tasty snack. But there's more. Off the coast of Antarctica, passengers on a luxury cruise had a rare encounter with a giant jellyfish. Known as the phantom jellyfish, this huge sea creature was an incredible sight and reminded everyone just how mysterious and full of surprises our oceans still are. This moment became an unforgettable part of their trip, showing that even in the coldest, most remote corners of the world, there's always something amazing waiting to be discovered. Next, we go deeper to meet a rare deep-sea jellyfish, the giant phantom jellyfish. If you're just now hearing about this deep ocean creature, it's likely because it lives way down in the ocean, more than 3,000 feet deep. Seeing one closer to the surface is rare and could mean there's something changing in the environment or that the jellyfish isn't doing well. This jellyfish, called the giant phantom jellyfish, has a huge umbrella-shaped body and 4 long ribbon-like tentacles that can stretch up to 33 feet. It uses these tentacles to catch its prey in the dark, deep waters. Even though this jellyfish is found in oceans all over the world, it's almost never seen. Fewer than 130 sightings have ever been recorded. Spotting one is truly an amazing experience. Now let's move to the South Pole, where penguins are everywhere. And as you might expect, they create a lot of waste. From space, you can actually see pink patches all over Antarctica. This is caused by the penguins' droppings, which turn pink because of their krill-filled diet. It's surprising just how much of this pink waste there is, especially in places where there are a lot of penguins. In satellite images, you can see large areas of pink against the white snow, helping scientists track how many penguins live in these far-off places. These images have become a valuable tool for scientists to keep an eye on the health and size of penguin populations and to learn more about their habits. But here's something unexpected. This penguin waste doesn't just change the color of the snow, it also releases a lot of nitrous oxide, a greenhouse gas that you might know as laughing gas. The penguin's waste is packed with nitrogen, and when bacteria in the soil break it down, it creates nitrous oxide. Researchers who study these penguins have even reported feeling a bit lightheaded or dizzy because of the high levels of this gas, a strange effect of being around these otherwise cute birds. On a different note, the comeback of Polaroid and film photography has brought back a love for printed photos, offering something more tangible compared to digital pictures. In the middle of this renewed interest, an incredible discovery was made. Old photographic negatives from Ernest Shackleton's Antarctic expedition were found, frozen in a block of ice at Captain Robert Falcon Scott's hut in Cape Evans, Antarctica. These photos had been preserved for more than 100 years and provided a rare look into Shackleton's challenging journey on the ice. Once thawed and developed, the 22 negatives showed scenes from Shackleton's expedition, captured in the same hut that had also sheltered Scott's team during their own ill-fated trip. As the men carried on with their daily routines and makeshift shelters in a cold and harsh environment, their experiences have given us important insights into Shackleton's 8th expedition. One story stands out, and it's about losing something we all dread losing: your wallet. Losing a wallet anywhere is stressful, but imagine losing it in Antarctica. The chances of getting it back are almost zero. However, Paul Grisham, a former Navy weather forecaster, lost his wallet at McMurdo Station, and amazingly, he got it back 53 years later. It was found during a demolition in 2014, and the cold had kept it in good condition. Inside, they found his Navy ID, driver's license, beer ration card, tax forms, and even a recipe for homemade Kahlua. Getting the wallet back to Grisham wasn't easy, though. It passed through several people and organizations before finally reaching him. Thanks to the Old Antarctic Explorers Association, the wallet was returned to him when he was 91 years old. He was touched and surprised to get it back, and it brought back memories of his 13-month stay in Antarctica during the Cold War. Now let's find more surprises on the icy land of Antarctica. Ice, life, and beyond. In 2016, scientists spotted a massive hole in the sea ice there, a phenomenon known as a polynya. This hole was twice the size of New Jersey. Naturally, this puzzled the researchers. It took some time to figure out what caused it. It turns out that a mix of strong winds, water currents, and salt levels in the water all played a part. The warm, salty water from deep below the surface rose up and melted the ice from underneath. The saltiness made the water heavier, and this combination kept the surface from freezing back over right away. As a result, the polynya stayed open for a while, teaching scientists more about how Antarctic conditions work. But the surprises didn't stop there. In 2018, researchers from the Alfred Wegener Institute drilled down about 656 feet into the Filchner ice shelf near Neumayer Station 3 in the southeastern part of the Weddell Sea. They were expecting to find very little life in such a deep, icy place. Instead, they discovered a lively ecosystem full of unexpected creatures. Life was thriving in conditions where it seemed like nothing could survive. This finding not only added to our knowledge of Antarctica's biodiversity, but it also proved that life can exist in even the most extreme environments on Earth. In some of the toughest places on Earth, creatures like moss animals and certain types of worms manage to survive, even though they never see sunlight. These creatures get by with the few nutrients carried to them by the under-ice currents. This amazing ability to live in such harsh environments makes scientists wonder if life could exist in other extreme places, like outer space. Discoveries like these give people hope that life might be found in other parts of the universe. Recently, someone using Google Earth found something strange off the coast of Antarctica. It looked like a huge ship weighing about 400 tons, frozen in ice. The image quickly spread across social media and online forums because the formation had many features that looked like a real ship, including a bow, deck, and stern. Found in one of the most remote and icy places on the planet, where strange shapes can often form, this one was so clear it got people talking. Some thought it could be proof of an ancient civilization or a secret government project, while others believed it might be linked to aliens. But this wasn't the strangest part. Despite the wild theories, most scientists think it's just a natural ice formation, shaped by Antarctica's rough climate and shifting ice. Without visiting the site in person, no one can say for sure what it really is. At the same time, scientists in Antarctica made another incredible find: air that's been trapped in the ice since the 1870s. There's over 194 cubic feet of this ancient air, and it gives us a peek into what Earth's atmosphere was like more than 150 years ago. By studying this trapped air, scientists can see how much human activity has changed the atmosphere since then. But the surprises in Antarctica don't stop there. Researchers have also discovered the fossilized remains of a frog that lived 40 million years ago. What makes this find so interesting is that this frog lived in a time when Antarctica had a much warmer climate, totally different from the frozen desert we know today. This fossil helps us learn not only about how climates can change over millions of years, but also how life finds ways to adapt to these changes. Let's go back in time to see what Antarctica used to be like, Antarctica's forgotten world. However, this discovery brings even more questions. How could such a warm environment have existed in a place that's now one of the coldest on Earth? And if life could thrive there then, what does that tell us about life's ability to survive in extreme conditions today? Antarctica is known today for its freezing temperatures and icy landscapes. But long ago, it was very different. The discovery of a fossil on Seymour Island, where many others have been found, gives us a glimpse into what this ancient world looked like. The frog species uncovered there is only seen today in South America. This tells us that, at some point, Antarctica and South America might have been connected. Back then, the climate was much warmer, unlike the harsh cold we see today. With every fossil we find, we get a clearer idea of how Antarctica looked and what life was like in that time. Around 250 million years ago, Antarctica was a completely different place. Instead of being the frozen, icy land we know today, it was warm, lush, and full of life. At that time, it was part of a huge supercontinent called Pangaea. One of the fascinating creatures that lived there was a reptile called Antarctinax shackletoni, which means Antarctic king. It was about the size of a modern iguana and was an early relative of both dinosaurs and crocodiles. The bones of this creature were discovered in the Transantarctic Mountains. Though scientists have found its vertebrae, leg bones, and ribs, they haven't found its skull or teeth yet. This means there's still some mystery about exactly what it looked like or how it hunted, but the fossils found around it give us a good idea of the world it lived in. Back then, Antarctica wasn't cold at all. The climate was much warmer, likely because there were a lot of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. This warmth allowed plants like conifers and ferns to grow, creating a rich environment for many different animals. It was a time of rapid evolution after the Permian mass extinction, with new species quickly developing. But Antarctinax wasn't the only predator in these forests. Ancient Antarctica was filled with other small carnivorous reptiles and amphibians, all trying to find their place in a bustling ecosystem. Some of the amphibians were just as large as the Antarctic king, which shows how competitive life was at the time. But here's the surprising part. This vibrant, lively landscape is a far cry from the cold and barren Antarctica we know today. That's why scientists are so eager to study it. Each fossil they find helps them understand how life bounced back after one of the most devastating extinctions Earth has ever seen. As paleontologists dig deeper into the ancient rocks, they uncover more pieces of the puzzle. These discoveries not only tell us about the animals that roamed Antarctica millions of years ago, but also remind us how much our planet has changed over time. Every bone, every fossil reveals more about how creatures like the Antarctic king adapted to their environment, thriving in a world that's so different from what we see today. But this wasn't the most surprising part. The fossils of the Antarctic king have given scientists clues about how life managed to bounce back after the massive Permo-Triassic extinction, which wiped out almost 90% of all living things. This small but important reptile played a big role in the survival of future species, including dinosaurs, birds, and crocodiles. In more recent times, a drone expedition in Antarctica captured a strange photo. It showed mysterious shapes moving along a dangerous, icy path. This led to wild guesses. Could these be Bigfoot-like creatures? Or maybe something not from this planet? Since the figures vanished and were never seen again, their true nature remains a mystery. And then, in 2022, scientists made an incredible discovery, the oldest marine DNA ever found. This DNA, taken from deep-sea sediments in the Scotia Sea, is about 1 million years old. It gives us a rare chance to look into the history of ocean life and learn more about ancient marine creatures that lived long ago. What do you think those mysterious shapes in Antarctica could be? Share your theories in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.